You're all welcome to this meeting once again. Sorry, I had a few network challenges, so I am back. So please kindly mute yourself when you join the meeting so that we can have a good flow, so that everyone can hear everyone very well. Now, this meeting is to inaugurate the mentorship program by AusIMM. If you are not aware of the mentorship program or you are not a member of AusIMM, the mentorship program has the aim to enable students build themselves by learning from professionals in the industry. And the purpose is to provide student members with exposure to the mining and allied industries next west and help in career building. So every student in AusIMM Tarkwa chapter will have a mentor who is either already in the mining industry or someone who is already having their profession who is going to help the students and guide them in any other way as they develop their profession. So they talked about how it's going to be like. The mentorship program is not supposed to be for financial assistance
or
issues, but it's supposed to be to help the students in any other professional development. So something like to increase generational awareness, job satisfaction from seeing others develop, having identified future potentials of the person they are mentoring. That's for the mentors. They are going to do that for their mentees. And they will learn and develop themselves in the process. And they'll be satisfied at the success of their mentee. So mentors will get benefits as well from the mentorship program, and the mentees will also get benefits. They'll increase their self-confidence and motivation. They'll have an opportunity to develop skills by observing others and a source of knowledge and experience to tap into. And they will gain a sharper focus on what is needed to grow professionally. So this is a brief description of the mentorship program. And today's meeting is going to be the inauguration of the mentorship program. And you're all welcome to the meeting. So now invite Mr. Peter Owusu, a materials engineering student at K University, to give the opening prayer for the meeting.
Okay. Good evening to all. Please we pray. Our Father, we praise your name and we say, hallowed be your name. Send to us, Lord, but your name we praise. Thank you, Almighty One, for being pleased to unite us in such an august gathering. Once again, we say thank you. Father, we humbly implore you that graciously by your Spirit, being in our midst, O God, this day and at this time, be the chief and Lord of our meeting, that at last, O powerful Master, O God, will let your will be done. And in the end, all glory and honor will be unto your holy name as it is duly yours. For this and many other intentions, we ask through your Son, our Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Owusu. Now we are going to have Mr. Wisdom Iduna, the president of AusIMM Tarkwa chapter, to give the acknowledgement of dignitaries for the meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much, moderator. Greetings to everyone. It's a delight for me on behalf of the AusIMM Tarkwa Student Forum to extend to everyone a cordial welcome to the AusIMM Tarkwa Students Chapter Virtual Inauguration. Capitalizing on my call for today's inauguration, I am privileged to introduce the virtual presence of the guest speakers for today's memorable occasion. Precisely, our sponsor and founder, Mr. Henry Enchi, fellow AusIMM and author of a recent book entitled Navigating Career Challenges in the International Mining Industry, The Journey of a Mining Engineer. We also have Ms. Joyce Brenda, an American Ghanaian gold beneficiation consultant and a founder of AusIMM Heritage Precious Metals. We also have Dr. Kwesi Ampofo, AusIMM and a co-sponsor of the Tarkwa AusIMM chapter, of which he will grace the occasion with a brief presentation. We also have Mr. Rodney Elvis, who is an honorable fellow, an AusIMM chartered professional, and a sponsor of the AusIMM Tarkwa scholarship. We also have Engineer Professor Anthony Andrews, who is also the head for materials engineering from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We also have Mr. Francis Gani, the Managing Director of Mining Tools Ghana, which is sponsoring today's launching. We also have Mr. Kennedy Abuakwa Sasu, who is also a Commercial Relationship Manager at Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited. We also have Mr. Edward K. Inwan, who is also an Assistant Superintendent of Police, Jubilee House to be precise. We also have Mr. Edmond Bedu Kofi, who is also a mining engineer at Orica Mining Services. We also have Dr. Linda Ando, who is also a medical officer and the CEO of Rolling Apparel. In the same vein, I do acknowledge all mentors by the chapter on the mentoring basis for the AusIMM undergrad, who despite their busy line of work still maneuvered their way out to witness today's virtual inauguration. All we say is God bless everyone. The moderator Kezia, please take over. Esteemed wisdom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wisdom Eduna. So, Mr. Henry Enchi, who is the founder and sponsor of AusIMM Tarkwa Student Chapter, will give the opening remarks for the meeting.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. Let me first thank the invited guests, academic staff, mentors, students, AusIMM members and non-members who are with us this evening. Special appreciation to Mr. Rod Elfish, the sponsor of the Tarkwa AusIMM scholarships, who has sacrificed his sleep to join us from Sydney. I think it's about 6 a.m. in Sydney. I also welcome overseas who have joined us from different time zones. Last year, we made a decision to embrace student members from other universities. I want to congratulate and welcome the new student members from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology who have joined the Tarkwa AusIMM Forum. In fact, we are working on a suggestion to the AusIMM office to change the name to reflect the changes in membership. To provide you a bit of context, the mentorship program has been going on for a while and has benefited many graduates. In fact, I was at a function in Kumasi a few months ago when someone who graduated from the AusIMM mentorship approached me to inform me he's now a manager at one of the mines in Ghana. So after finishing a presentation in Canada last year, an AusIMM alumni also told me how the benefits of the mentorship program helped him to diversify into the finance sector. There are many others occupying management positions around the world. However, this is the first time that we are officially launching the program. We are connecting students to mining and related disciplines with industry mentors to facilitate knowledge transfer, develop future leaders, and provide every opportunity for students to have a successful and rewarding career. The mentorship program has become more critical at a time new technologies are shaping the mining industry. Artificial intelligence, key performance indicators. We have already seen Mali, a lead in fully automated sub-level at the Resolute Summer Mine. The mentees, the scheme will help you widen your horizon and prepare you for the challenges and opportunities, build knowledge and skills while attaining goals for professional development. In fact, those who have had the opportunity to read my book, I share professional testimonials of some mentees ranging from mining, financial, and sectors to highlight some of the practical benefits of mentorship. The mentors we have on board are experienced professionals who can offer the student mentees an opportunity to enhance their learning experience and career development. Let me take the opportunity to provide advice to the mentees. You should not assume that it is the responsibility of the mentor to find you a job when you graduate. The mentor may be able to provide you guidance or links, but may not be able to influence the decision-making process. An example, a mentee approached me a year ago to help with a role at a mine in the United States. Now, fortunately, the general manager used to work for me when I was a production engineer at the BHP operations in the US. So he straight away told the HR department to organize an interview for her. She never showed up at the interview on the excuse that she was nervous. Naturally, her expectation was that she could skip the interview process with my influence, but things don't work that way. So don't embarrass your mentors with such excuses if you get such an opportunity. Another example, a mentee approached me and wants to attend a conference in Australia. I advised him that his best chance was to present a paper. So together we did a joint paper and got it approved for presentation. Got him a sponsorship, flight and accommodation expenses, and facilitated his visa process. Unfortunately, something came up and I could not attend the conference. 2 weeks before flight to Australia, he told me he was not granted leave. What he didn't know was that I knew his general manager, so I called him to intervene on his behalf. And he advised me that the mentee had not submitted any application for leave. He lied because, according to him, my inability to make it to the conference scared him because, especially in regards to his ability to answer questions after the presentation. He could have raised that issue without lying that he was not granted leave. You should always be transparent, ethical, and more importantly, the mentorship program, as your moderator said, is not an avenue to solicit financial assistance from your mentor. To the mentors, you will also derive great benefits from the program. From my personal perspective, I rely on my network of mentees when I need skills for a particular job or need industry updates on a particular country. For instance, I was invited to a 6-month assignment in a South American country. The first thing I did was to reach out to a mentee who worked there as an expert. And based on his advice, I saved myself the stresses of taking that particular assignment. Another example, we seconded some graduates from India into our operations in Australia. One of them had difficulty in mine planning and was not enjoying the role. So I advised him to look for various options. In fact, he was a very good cricket player. So I told him to explore professional career in cricket. He managed to sign a very lucrative contract. In fact, during my last trip to India, when I was checking out of the hotel, I was told this mentee had taken all my expenses. Many examples are cited in the professional testimonial section of my book as a way to gain appreciation of some of the practical benefits of the mentorship program. At this important launching, I cannot help but to reflect that by the time you, the mentees, complete your studies, you will be entering interesting but challenging times in the Ghanaian mining and metals industry. Structural weaknesses are hindering Ghana's diversification drive. Some of the constraints include cumbersome administrative procedures, complex fiscal regimes, unfair trade policies favoring imports at the expense of local manufacturers, weak logistics networks, and high energy prices. In fact, the National Development Supply Program was initiated to address some of these challenges.
Sound is not coming.
I have been part of the bauxite aluminum integration project, as some of you know, initially as an advisor to the the process has reached the final stage of selection of investors, and we are hoping that it will be an avenue for employment in the areas of material engineering, instrumentation and control, mechanical engineering, metallurgy, mining engineering, geology, computer science, and other professions. We have proposed a robust training program to send selected Ghanaian operators to established alumina plants overseas for training. In addition, we intend to send some metallurgy and chemical engineering lecturers to our technology provider in Germany to learn the practical aspects of the bioprocess used for alumina production. And then incorporate these lecturers into our training program to skill up Ghanaians. Government is also working on the integration of iron ore and steel to ensure value addition for economic returns, skills development, and jobs creation. The localization of the mining sector is also gaining momentum, and I've seen cooperation agreements between local companies and international partners. Mining Tools Ghana, which is sponsoring this function, is an example of a local company executing highly specialized waste boring activities with an international joint venture company and facilitating skills development of Ghanaian professionals. I've also been advising a wholly owned Ghanaian company working on the development of best practices in mining, processing, and downstream application to ensure value addition to the gold sector. This facility will provide funding, equipment, technology, and working capital for those of you who want to go into legal, artisanal, small-scale mining and provide you the opportunity to subscribe to shares. That will be built down. So into the future, there is cautious optimism, jobs creation, and skills development in Ghana. I encourage you to strive for excellence and seize opportunity. There will be ups and downs, but it is my hope that the mentorship program we are launching today will help you strive for professional excellence. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the other presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Enchi. That was an excellent opening remark for this meeting. So we'll begin with the presentation by guest speakers. We'll first invite Ms. Joyce Brenda from Gold Beneficiation Consult.
Good evening to our host and to all of the participants who are on. My name is Brenda Joyce, not Joyce Brenda, although it gets confused many times, of course, with two first names. I'm honored to be a part of this group that is initiating such an important mentorship program for the AusIMM student body and the mentees. You're about to enter a very exciting phase of your career. If anyone is on I know there are people who are on who are going to be mentees, but there are also mentors who are online. If you haven't been a mentor yet, I want you to know that the benefits of being a mentor begin just as soon as you make the commitment to being a mentor. The first process that you go through is self-examination. Just accepting the role of being a mentor to someone causes you to look back over your career and examine it in ways that you may not have examined it before, because now you have to pull out the salient points and features and the information, that the experiences that you want to pass on to the mentee, so that he or she has the advantage of learning from your experiences. Sorry?
Miss Brenda, please continue.
Okay, very good. From going through that process of self-examination, really, and self-examination of one's career and the phases you've gone through, the people that you have met, the people who have mentored you, and the ways in which they have helped you develop your career, you benefit from the examination process. And from that, you get a feeling of satisfaction, because you know that you're doing something meaningful that's going to help not just yourself, but to help the people that people that you care about too. Students who are in the process of becoming the leaders in the industry, which we all need in order to keep the industry moving and keep it alive. There's also a cross education, because as we teach, we also learn. And there's information that you have to teach us as well that we pick up. For instance, I'm sure that most of the students have had experiences where they have helped some of their teachers and some of their professors and some of their mentors with technology, which of course you all grew up with from being babies, and so you're much more conversant and familiar with the technology than we tend to be. So the cross fertilization is very good and very important too. And then there's the long-term benefit of watching the growth and knowing that you've contributed to the success of a young person who is developing as you did years ago in your career, and you have an opportunity to assist them, to assist people in students in particular, of grasping information without having to go through the experience. You're getting your information and experiences the easy way. You're getting it by not having to suffer through the experiences yourself, but you have the opportunity to learn from the experiences without having to go through them yourself, and to go through the mistakes that we have all had to go through to learn the things that we are teaching you. You're also gaining access to a historical perspective on the industry from the experiences that we have had and that we are able to share with you. This is very important in understanding the industry and understanding how you fit into the industry, what your role is going to be, and how to prepare for it. So the mentor becomes a very important source of historical information, as well as current and future information on the industry. All of that helps you figure out how you're going to fit into it and make plans for your career development with the assistance, of course, with your mentor. For the institution that is establishing the mentorship program, the benefits are also very great. There's the institution gets an increase in the productivity and the usefulness of the staff by utilizing their experience in a mentorship role. So that can be very beneficial to the institution, and very beneficial also in developing the leadership that is so important for the continued growth of any type of a program. This industry in particular is one where no matter what you have learned in a classroom, you have to work under someone or with someone who knows more than you do. There needs to be the laying on of hands, if I may call it that, in a spiritual sense. That's what the reference would be to laying your hands on another person and passing on the spiritual blessings. While a mentor-mentee relationship in a lot of ways is a laying on of hands from the mentor to the mentee. I congratulate you all for participating in this call and for participating in this excellent program. And most of all, I congratulate AusIMM for initiating this program, which I'm sure is going to be very beneficial to everyone who participates. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Brenda Joyce. So we are going to have our next speaker, that is Dr. Kwesi Ampofo, who is the co-sponsor of AusIMM Tarkwa chapter, to give a presentation as well.
Thank you very much, moderator, and I hope everyone can hear me. So, first of all, I have to congratulate everyone, both the mentors and the mentees. It's really an honorable organization. It's really a wonderful community to be in, I must admit. And then being part of this really special group of people where you get to learn with each other would really be a privilege. And if I can even go a step further and say that it might be one of the best moments of your career. Mentors getting to learn from mentees and mentees also getting to learn from mentors will be an invaluable contribution to whichever stage of your career you are in. And so when the president did reach out to me to come share with you some insights, I was wondering, like, what do I say? Because you're all really distinguished people, and how do you advise or how do you share some knowledge with people who are really on top of their game already? So I decided to come up with what I call the 10 points to being or to nurturing a really good mentor-mentee relationship. So I'll crave your indulgence for the next couple of minutes, and I'll share with you over the last couple of years, the lessons I've learned in trying to establish good relationship with my mentors. And once I became a mentor, how I've managed to sustain a good and effective relationship with my mentee. So the first thing I'm going to say is that as you start this relationship, make it a symbiotic one. And what do I say symbiotic? Symbiotic is pretty much, for those of us who did biology, when two organisms interact, There are those that would interact with you and sort of get everything out of you. Those are the parasites. They take it all out of you and give nothing in return. But there's a relationship known as a symbiotic relationship where one helps the other and the other also helps, um, vice versa. And it's very important that you make this a symbiotic relationship. You make it a two-way street and you make it a win-win for both the mentor and the mentee. The second thing I would also want to add is that right from the onset, right from the get-go, you need to set, mark, and identify what your expectations are. What are you coming into this for? When someone who is in year 400 approaches me to talk to me, instantly my instinct tells me that this is a student who could be in the work force in the next couple of months. And the way I engage with such a person is entirely different from the way I would engage with someone who just started, a fresher who just started his university. So, as a mentor, as a mentee, I think the second tip I would give is that set those expectations very early. What do we need from this relationship, from a mentor perspective and from a mentee perspective? The third thing I was going to say is that make it a very engaging one. There is no point every morning messaging your mentor, "Good morning, sir. Have you had breakfast? I had egg." There's no point in doing that and repeatedly doing that every morning. I don't think your mentors would want to wake up asking them to a message asking them what they had for breakfast. Rather, you can make it engaging by, for example, you saw something in a news item that you believe will be of importance to your mentor. You do some background research. You've heard your mentor talk about automation being a very important part of his portfolio. You've come across a very important automation use. You do some background research and you probably just send it to him like, "Hey, sir, um, you saw, or hey, I prefer first names. Hey, Chrissy, this is what I saw. I heard that automation can improve bottom system by 60%, and I find it very interesting." And then probably you have a debate. He believes it will be 40%, and you have a very engaging debate. But that should not be all. You probably know that your mentor supports Manchester United like I do. Manchester loses a match. It shouldn't always be about say, well, what is my career going to be? What should I do with these exams? You can talk about Manchester United as well. You can talk about common interests, whether you like photography, whether you both like certain type for food, just trying to make it an engaging one so that it becomes very symbiotic, like I talked earlier. The fourth one I identified was that go with the flow, but make it very structural. So when I say go with the flow, it shouldn't always, unlike classroom relationship with your lecturers, where there is a curricula, there is some sort of rigid rules as to how both of you engage in the classroom. With these kind of programs, it should be very flexible. Go with the flow. Some mentors will prefer we have a weekly check-ins. Some mentors will prefer we do it monthly. Some will probably prefer, you know what, I'm always a phone call away. Just give me a yell and I would always be at your service. But then, in spite of that flow, make sure that there is a certain structure to it. And when I say structure, what do I mean? First of all, make sure that your mentor knows what is going on, what progress you're making, and where he or she can be of help to you, among other things. So, in spite of the fact that you're going with the flow, please always ensure that you put some structure to it. The fifth thing I was always going to add is that make sure you're tracking your progress. As much as you're going with the flow, as much as you are making it exciting and fun for both of you, it's not a game. It's not something that you're doing it for fun. It's something that you're doing it to improve your career and also to improve your life as well. So make sure you are tracking progress, both of you. Do you need a spreadsheet? Maybe, maybe not. Do you need a questionnaire? Maybe, maybe not. Do you need to sit down and have a conversation over the last 7 weeks since I started being your mentor? What have we been able to achieve? Where can I be more useful? How can I help you into the future? And by so doing, both of you will identify areas of weakness and also, most importantly, be able to establish places where you can make improvements for both of you to enjoy the relationship. And the sixth one I was going to add is that I like Rome. It's a beautiful city. And what I learned when I visit Rome is that you cannot build Rome in a day. All right. It's a very progressive journey building the city of Rome. And that is how I expect these relationships to be. It should be very progressive. If you message your mentor or your mentee today and you did not get the kind of response you expected, it's not because the person doesn't want to be your mentor or your mentee. It's simply because Rome was not built in a day. And then you need to be very progressive. You need to put an extra layer of block each and every day so that with each block, with each passing day, you're going to make progress in your friendship. You're going to make progress in your mentor mentee relationship. And you're going to make progress in what both of you can gain out of this. And the seventh thing I was going to say, at all costs, be transparent with each other. There is no need faking it. There is no need lying. There is no need creating an impression. I think one of the fundamentals of setting up this program was that we wanted to create a space where each and every one of us can be vulnerable. You can come to me and talk to me and look, you really thought mining engineer was the thing for you, but you ended up realizing that cricket is the thing. We should be able to foster that environment where you can come up, be vulnerable and transparent that it's not working for me. What do? I might not have the answers. So just like the other mentors, we might not have the answers. But then with our experience, we can guide you to ensure that ultimately whatever decision you take will be one that would benefit you down the line. So please be transparent at all costs because it pays. The eighth thing I was gonna say is that pay it forward. Someone is paying the price for you today to ensure that you're able to stand on the shoulders of giants, to see higher than we've seen. The whole idea of this mentorship mentee relationship is to ensure that you can also stand on our shoulders and see beyond where we've seen. So the expectation is that once you've been able to achieve this, you pay it forward for the next engineer. You pay it forward for the next mathematician, for the next geomatics engineer, for the next geological engineer. You pay it forward 10 years' time. And one very good example, and one person I've come to really appreciate within this community is Theophilos. He does it very well. Theophilos and I have had a very good relationship over the last couple of years. And I've watched him evolve to be a full-fledged engineer himself, and he's also paying it forward, looking out for this next generation. And I expect you in the next year, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, you don't have to be a manager before you can be a mentor. Once you are able to find your feet, hold someone. It could be someone in first year, a fresher. It could be someone even in high school wanting to be a mining engineer. Hold their hands and ensure that they can also climb up, stand on your shoulders, and see further than you've ever seen. And the ninth thing I was going to say, I'm getting closer to the end. The ninth thing I was going to say is that once you've been called a mentee under this AusIMM program, once you've been called a mentor, automatically you've become an ambassador for this community. Wherever you go, know that you represent this really wonderful brand, you represent this wonderful community, and whatever you do must reflect what we believe in. As a community, what do we believe in? We believe that we need to look out for each other. We believe that we need to support each other. We believe that it's people that matter, irrespective of whether it's the tons we are mining, whether it's the financials we're dealing with, whether it's the environment we are looking out for. At AusIMM in Tarkwa, we believe that it's all about people and we look out for each other. And as you go out there, as you establish relationship with your mentors, always have at the back of your mind that you are ambassadors of this program and you propagate this wonderful community wherever you go. And the 10th thing I wanted to add, which I believe is the most important, is that I wanted you to take your pens and write down what you want to achieve out of this program. Let that be the 10th point that you take from me today. Whatever you want to achieve out of this. Do you want to learn more about financial evaluation? Do you want to be better at your current job? Do you want to learn how to be a good student in the university? Whatever it is, whatever expectations you came or you had at the back of your mind before you joined or you signed up to this program, I want you to take a pen and a paper and put that down. Let that be the 10th point and let that be the most important takeaway from here. That this is why I came here today. And hopefully, through this engagement, we can work with you to ensure that you succeed at this. So these are my 10 pointers that have always guided me as a mentee, and fortunately for me as a mentor. And I wish these 10 things for you. And I look forward to continuing this relationship from time to time. And I'm happy to take any questions when question times are due. Thank you once again for this opportunity. And I think I would pause here. Moderator, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwesi Yampofo. That was a very nice presentation. So we could do a short recap. First of all, we had Mr. Henry Entry giving the opening remarks, and throughout the presentations, we've had almost everyone presenting telling us, their mentees, that we should also put in efforts in the mentorship program and our expectations for our mentors. We are not supposed to have so much high expectations for them. They could help us out, and we should also help ourselves out. The more efforts we put in, the more effort maybe they can put in for us. Miss Brenda Joyce said something very nice. She said the mentors are like they are laying their hands on their mentees. They're going to help us out, help us pick us up, like like newborn baby, help them with their little steps. That's what the mentors are doing for us right now. So this is a great opportunity for all of us, the mentees, and we are so grateful to have this wonderful, awesome family. Dr. Kwesi Yampofo also highlighted some 10 points. I hope we all noted these 10 points down. They're really good. My favorite one was us being symbiotic in the relationship. Yes, mentors have to benefit from this relationship, and mentees have to benefit as well. So we have to be symbiotic, and we should set our expectations early and know these are very nice points that we could all apply in this program. Our next person to present is Mr. Rod Elvis. He is the awesome Tarkwa Student Chapter Scholarship sponsor. We will have Mr. Rod Elvis give his presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. And what a wonderful start to this mentoring program this is. Firstly, I just want to say, as a past president of the AusIMM, that the minerals industry is a wonderful industry, and you're really lucky to have selected this as your future career. It's a great career and really important, especially in Ghana, but not just in Ghana, but internationally. And mentees that I have literally travelled the world and worked in many places. So really enjoy being part of this great industry. You're students at the moment, and you are studying and learning, and when you finish, you go into industry, and I'd encourage all of you to go into industry, certainly as the first step in your careers. But you go into industry thinking that, yes, I'm qualified, I know all about it, and as the previous two speakers have said, you're really only just starting to learn. So at university, you're learning some of the details, but you're learning how to learn and how to work with others to learn and, as was said earlier, to walk on their shoulders so that you can go forward. When you go into industry, you'll be tested. People think young graduates know it all, and young graduates sometimes do, but you've got to be humble and willing to learn. And even as an experienced person, I took a new job at one stage, and the shift boss said, well, come and see a gold pour in the gold room. And it was very impressive, of course. And he had the hot furnace, and he took an iron a rod out of the furnace. It was red hot, and he just waited until the redness was gone from it. And he handed it to me and said, please hold this. He was testing me. He knew that he would not drop it into my hand, but that if I put my hand out, he'd know that I was not experienced. So I pulled out an asbestos glove, put the glove on, and took the iron piece from him. From then on, we were great mates because he knew that I had a basic understanding. I just give that as an example of the sort of things that you'll be tested on when you do go into industry. The most important thing when you graduate is to get a job and to work hard at it. It doesn't matter whether it's a job that's really you're qualified for, or perhaps you just get a mundane job. My first job in the industry was actually digging ditches in a mine, and I'm a metallurgist. But you go in at whatever level you're able to get into the minerals industry and work hard and accept the mundane, the difficult things. So the important thing, though, is whatever you do, enjoy doing it. This industry is so great, and you'll enjoy it for the whole of your life. Although if it's not right for you and you want to be a cricketer, as was mentioned before, talk to your mentor and tell him your problems. Share your problems. And I think mentoring is, as has been said, a two-way street. That I get as much out of mentoring you as a young student as you do. And mentoring goes on. It's not just during your student days. You'll be friends for life with your mentor, and your mentor will be friends for life with his or her mentee. So the other thing that I'd like to stress that's been said over and over again is that the more you put into your mentorship, the more you'll get out of it. And that goes for the industry as well. As you work, the more you put into your work, the more you'll get out of it and the more you'll enjoy it. And that's also the same with the AusIMM, that the more you put into the AusIMM and go on committees, become a treasurer or secretary and run functions, the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it personally. So I think that that's part of my whole philosophy of life, that the more you put in, the more you get out. Just some of the things that that I've really gained from the AusIMM. The one I use most is actually the one mine situation. As student members, each of you have access through the web to the one mine papers. These are many of the, or most of the papers from the SME in America, the AusIMM, the South African or Southern African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy, the Canadian Institute, and the IOM3 in London. So the papers are on the web, and it's free access for members. So make the most of that as you go. And that's also a great discussion point that if you're researching something, you can read those papers and then discuss them with your mentor. So the other thing, of course, is with the new technology and this Zoom technology and webinars, make the most of webinars. You can go to conferences now without having to leave your hometown, and make the most of them. So I guess my overriding message is, whatever you do, enjoy it. Enjoy working with your mentor. And as has been said, be frank, don't hide things. It's sometimes hard, and sometimes that makes it very difficult for the mentor if he's not sure just to what you're meaning. But don't be shy, be open, and I think it'll be a really wonderful association that you make, not just with your mentor, but with his associates as well, because he or she will refer you on to other people in specific instances, and a great friendship will develop, which will last a lifetime. So my message, enjoy whatever you do and make the most of it. And the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. So thank you for having me, and I'd be delighted to take any questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rod Elvish, for the presentation. I really like some points I learned from your presentation. That whatever you do, enjoy doing it. Yes. So we should work harder and everything will actually go well for us. Thank you very much. So we are going to have our next presentation by Engineer Professor Anthony Andrews, who is the head of department of the Metallurgy and Materials Engineering at KNUST.
All right, thank you very much, and good evening to all of you. I must say that I'm very excited to be part of this year's mentorship program. As Mr. Entry mentioned earlier, this is the first time students from KNUST, specifically from my department, that is Department of Materials Engineering, have signed up for this program. So I would like to commend the founder, the sponsors, and then organizers from UMATS for instituting this very important program. Since we are coming in for the first time, I would like to start by telling you about what kind of mentorship exists at KNUST. So at KNUST, as you may be aware, it was founded to provide higher education with special emphasis on science and technology as a way of, as a catalyst for technological development in the country. And therefore, the university seeks to do this by employing competent, experienced, and well-motivated staff. And then they also have to make sure that they retain the staff that they employ. But then the problem is that over the years, we've had very high number of students. So the students' population has been going up, and therefore the government is also giving the university some quota to employ more. But then the fact of the matter is that the students to staff ratio is very, very high. For instance, in the College of Engineering, this year alone, the first year population is over 4,000. And that is about double the number of students that we admitted last year. So when you want to institute mentorship program, you can imagine the kind of challenge that we are going to have as a college and as a university. But then we still have to mentor the students. But currently, what is in place is trying to mentor the faculty members, that's the lecturers, because once the students' population increases, we are forced to recruit more of the lecturers. And the lecturers that we are getting these days are relatively young, without much experience. And therefore, they have to be mentored, they have to be trained or coached so that they can take up leadership positions in the near future. And so for KNUST, that is the mentorship in place. We are only mentoring academic staff, but for students, it has always been an informal way of mentorship. So if a student approach you and take you as a mentor, then you have to coach the students every now and then. And so it's not this formal, structured way that AusIMM is going. And that's why I commend the organizers so much for instituting this program. And so I think the earlier speakers have said a lot about the don'ts and the do's for both the mentees and the mentors. We all know that there are several stages in the mentoring system. We have gone through the contemplation stage, where people were not so sure whether to join or not. We've gone through the initiation stage, where the pairing has been done. And today we are inaugurating the program. And so the focus now should be on how to make this relationship grow. That is the mentor and then the mentee relationship. How to make it grow and how to maintain it. Cause a healthy relationship. So I would like to, in a brief, highlight about 5 pointers to ensure that during this growth and maintenance stage of this program, both the mentees and mentors get the best out of this relationship. And so one, as the relationship starts and matures, the mentee is expected to become more comfortable. Okay, comfortable in the sense that at a point you are supposed to take the lead in choosing some of the activities that you want to do or to conduct. Gatherings will become more collaborative rather than allowing the mentor to decide all the time. Okay, and this you'll be able to achieve with time. The second one is that the relationship will become more comfortable with time. Of course, I mean, not all of them will become comfortable, but then the ideal situation is that as you move on, as the days goes by, it becomes more comfortable. As the connection grows and the trust is built, the boundaries may change. Okay, and once the boundary changes, then it means that you can even begin to share some personal issues, even though that is not one of the things that you're supposed to do. But then, as I said, it depends on the kind of relationship that the mentor and then the mentee are going to have. Now, the third one is that I also expect the program staff to also check in regularly with the mentor and then the mentee. It is very important that, of course, like matches, it gets supervised. And if there are any hitches here and there, it can be resolved before the end of the program. So program staff should look out for the red flags that signal potential problems. Because at the end of the day, we all want to succeed in this program. And so they should try and make sure that they monitor progress and advise accordingly. The fourth thing that I want to talk about relates to issues within the relationship, or the mentor may have some concerns about the mentee. When it comes to that level, I will also plead that the program staff can step in and then work things out to resolve these problems, so that at the end of the day, the mentee will benefit fully from this program. The last one is that relationships develop at different rates. I think Dr. Ampofu also mentioned that they develop at different rates. And so some people trust more easily, whilst others are also far more cautious. So there is the need to push to reach milestones quickly. And I think, once again, Dr. Ampofu mentioned that if you want to keep a spreadsheet, fine. Whatever way that you want to, means you want to use to track the progress of this relationship, I believe we have to do that, so that in the end, we don't see ourselves as wasting our precious time, but then we are going to benefit fully from this program. I believe that this year's mentorship program, even though it's our first from KNUST point of view, is going to be enjoyable, it's going to be fun. I wish mentors and mentees all the best, and it's my prayer that at the end of the program, we'll have a success story to tell. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you the best of luck. Over to you, Kezia.
Thank you very much, Prof. Andrews, for the very nice presentation. So, at this point of the meeting, we are going to open for questions. If anyone has a question, the person could type it, or you could use the raise hand option on the Zoom, and then you would ask your question. Please, when asking the question, kindly let us know who you're asking, because we had a lot of presentation from a lot our guest speakers. So mention the guest speaker you're asking the question in your question. Thank you very much.
Hello, moderator. Hello, moderator.
Hello, Mr. Edmond.
Yes, I just want to come in. It's not really a question, but the questions will come after.
I've followed the presentation closely, and I have to admit that um, myself personally, I've been a beneficiary of this mentorship program. Coming out of UMAT as a mining engineer, I closely followed some experienced people in the industry, including Mr. Henry himself, and I must admit that it's been very helpful. Seeing how I've progressed through my career to where I am now, and the interesting thing is they continue to provide that guidance since we are still young in the industry. So this is a very very helpful program which I hope is going to benefit other people just as it's benefit. But in addition to that, I'm very happy with all the information Mr. Henrique shared, and I want to know if the chapter in Tarkwa, if they have a constitution, then probably we could put in some of the points that Mr. Henrique shared with regards to how the relationship of mentor and a mentee should be, because all the experiences he shared are quite significant, and I believe that if we find a medium to capture all those points, it's going to be of benefit. So if there's not a constitution, or even if that constitution can be amended in a way to include some of these points, I believe it's going to go a long way in helping other people. Thank you very much.
Edmond, thanks for the question. I think
Yeah.
I think the leadership have the modalities for the mentorship. So Wisdom and the team take note of his recommendation, and if you need to make any adjustments, please proceed and do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Entry and Mr. Edmond Coffey. So there is a question in the chat. Mr. Ernest Kojo Apia Techi said to Dr. Ampofo, if you're a mentee, what are some ways you can help your mentor to also develop in his or her career or in the relationship? So he's asking as a mentee to Dr. Ampofo.
Thank you, Ernest. So I wish I had a silver bullet, a straight answer that would say 1+1. If you add 1 to 1, you're gonna get 2, and that will be the perfect formula to establish a good mentor-mentee relationship. And I would sort of lean on to what the other speakers did mention, especially what Professor Andrews talked about. Like there is no simple solution. You understand? It's about two entirely different people coming together with two different or diverse interests. And the ultimate is to ensure that both of them are able to unite their interests in order to create something. So I think the first thing you would have to do is try to understand the other side. Like you need to really, really take a step back and understand your mentor. You understand? It's just sometimes it's just the little things. Do I like morning messages? Do I like afternoon messages? Do I respond more to evening messages? I probably don't like night messages. Those little things that would first of all enable you to establish a good communication. So that would be one. And the next thing, which I talked about earlier, is to make it a two-way street. And sometimes you would assume that mentors are meant to know everything. And it will surprise you. At one time I think I was in Cape Town for work, and this was on the social side. I was looking for a very good place to take a client. And I thought I've nailed it by identifying the best place to take my client, only to realize why don't I check in with some of my mentees who probably have been to Cape Town and don't know the best places to take my client on a business meeting. And then the feedback came in. I was like, oh, that place you wanted to go to is for old people. And instantly, I didn't realize how old I've become. But then those are some of the benefits that you get from your mentees, being able to point you towards the direction where, quote unquote, you shouldn't be going because they will assume you are too old. And it also reflects in the industry as well. Automation, artificial intelligence, internet stuff. Probably your mentor would not be on top of this game. And he would look up to you to be his or her light in such areas. So you should also ensure that you are not only going in there with, oh, Kwesi, how can I get admission to school? Kwesi, how can I get a job here? Or Kwesi, but then you also look at where you can add value to the mentor's life and make it a two-way street. So that will be the second thing. And the third thing, which I've also talked about, is that transparency. When I look at the relationship, I'm supposed to instantly be able to determine what exactly we are in this for. And as Prof mentioned earlier, nobody wants to waste their time. Nobody wants to commit to something where at the end of 1 year, we would have achieved nothing. I would have added no value to you. Neither would you have added any value to me. And it would all be hinged on both of us being able to be transparent with each other on what precisely we want right from the beginning. And I think if you are able to sort of enforce or encourage or enhance these three things, you would really pass out, quote unquote, with flying colors, and you would have earned yourself a lifetime, not even mentor, you would have earned yourself a lifetime friend who you can always fall on whenever there is the need. So hopefully I managed to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ampo, for that was a perfect reply. I'm sure Mr. Ernest Kujapia would have gotten the answer to his question. And Mr. Rod Elvis has typed in the chat that the applications for the AusIMM Tarkwa scholarship is open, so students could consider applying. And Mr. Prince Dufie said, "Good evening. I wish to express my heartfelt appreciation to all presenters. To the fourth presenter, Mr. Elvis, I missed the website he stated where research papers could freely be accessed. Can he mention it again?" That's to Mr. Elvis.
Kezia, could you please repeat the question? I missed it.
Sorry, please. He asked if you could repeat the website where he can get research papers.
Okay, that is the OneMine website. To access it, you go to the AusIMM website, and there is a section there called Access. If you hit Access, you'll find several icons there, and one of those is the OneMine icon, and you hit the OneMine icon, and that will take you into the website. So through the access part of the AusIMM website is the answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis. Yes, and I think it's also stated in one of the benefits for joining AusIMM, that is to get access to the OneMine. So, Mr. Prince Dufay, please, you have access to it. Please, are there any more questions?
Henry here. While we are on questions, Mr. Rod Elvish is a sponsor of the Tarkwa AusIMM scholarships. This is an opportunity for students to ask any questions. If you have you want any clarifications, this is the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. So, Mr. Abdullah Asima is saying to Mr. Rod, with the AusIMM Tarkwa scholarship, is it strictly for only students in AusIMM, or non-AusIMM Tarkwa students can also apply?
The conditions require that you must be a member of the AusIMM, a student member, and I would encourage you to become a member whether you want to apply for the scholarship or not. But the terms of the conditions are on the AusIMM website, and it's available to not just students now at UMAT, but also a new associate university.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis, for the clarification. So we'll just wait for about 5 minutes. If there are no questions, then we'll bring our meeting to a close.
Evening, everyone. KJ, can you hear me, please? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Kennedy.
Well, mine is not a question. I think it's more of a contribution. First of all, thank you guys for inviting me to witness the official launch of the AusIMM Ghana chapter. I think it's quite insightful. I came in through an invitation from Henry, and I think we've had a relationship for some time now. And I think that this is quite a laudable, platform which has been set for both the students and then the mentors. Listening to the presentations from Dr. Ampofo, Brenda, Rod, and the other team, it makes you reminisce your youthful days, or better still, the days that you were in uni. You wish you had such a platform or a plethora of mentors who could give you expose as to what to expect in the industry. And so I hope that the students here will see this as a fine opportunity for them to refine themselves and prepare themselves strategically for the market. For the short while that I've known Henry, I would say that this is a very fine opportunity for you guys to equip yourselves, listening to the presentations from Dr. Ampofo and all that. I think that's there's a lot for us to gather from here. Even myself, though I'm not in the mining industry, in my relationship with Henry, my horizon has broadened sense of, compliance to professionalism and other things. So I hope that you guys take it serious and want to be hearing testimonies in subsequent meetings as of the milestones that you guys have achieved through this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kennedy.
Hello, moderator.
Hello, Mr. Edmund.
Yes, I just want to give my final submission. I don't really know the progress when it with regards to interacting with mentors and mentees, but if if there isn't, then could we get a very formal platform where there could be daily interaction with mentors? Because I know that mostly you pair a mentor to a mentee, but in that case, it becomes just a one-way kind of communication. I believe that if we are all put under one platform, then each mentor will have a different experience and different kind of information to share. So maybe aside the one-on-one interaction, then maybe if we are all put on a common platform where everybody can contribute to a particular discussion or something, then then I believe it's going to go a long way in helping the mentees. Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe I'll take that one. Occasionally on this platform, we invite various speakers around the world, and some of the topics have been on mentorship. In fact, I've been part of this. Just think this year when we started virtual presentations, we've done one or two. So it's a very good point. Occasionally, we'll bring mentors and mentees together on the platform. While I'm here, I think I've got a few questions coming up. Somebody is asking whether there will be another platform for non-AusIMMs to be recruited. The recruitment process is not through Tarkwa or the forum. The recruitment process is through the AusIMM head office in Australia. So if you want to be a member, you go to the website and you go to the membership section and fill a form. If you're a student, you need your head of department or you need a member of the AusIMM to sign for you. I think you need two. So the procedure is very simple. Tarkwa itself, the forum cannot admit anybody. It has to be admitted through Australia. So that's the question. That's the response to that question. There's a question relating to research and visibility to the mining industry. If you want to be visible in the industry, then you have to look at the practical aspect of this research. You have to look at the implementation. So for instance, if you've done a research on automation or robotics or artificial intelligence, the research paper will sit there until you try to implement it in the field. In previous discussions, I've talked about hiring a computer scientist to help me with key performance indicator trees, where we map out the unique activities of mining operations. And it was a theoretical work that was done, but when we started implementing, we saw the benefits. So if you want to be visible with these research initiatives, then it is important that you look at the practical implementation side of the research. There are other few questions. Now that we have 10 USD students on board, has the number of scholarship beneficiaries per year increased or still limited to 2? We only brought in 10 USD students this year, and therefore the scholarships is still limited to 2. Unfortunately, it means more competition. But with time, we will look at increasing the number of scholarships. So thanks for that question.
Thank you very much, Mr.
I think
Henry.
there's one more. There's one. Somebody is asking whether he has to be an AusIMM member to be part of this mentorship. Yes, this mentorship is purely specifically for AusIMM members. So when you become a member, then you can go through the leadership and then they'll look for a mentor for you.
Thank you very much,
There's a
Mr.
question
Henry.
on whether the scholarships are for AusIMM Tarkwa. I think Rod has answered that one. It's only for AusIMM members of Tarkwa and KUST. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Entry, for helping us with the questions. And if there are any other questions, we would like you to send your questions, and we'll have to end our meeting. Okay, there's a question here by Mr. Samuel Bafwe J. He said, I wanted to find out if mentees' interest was considered before assigning mentors or it was random, because I think students who have dreams of pursuing graduate studies will have hugely benefited from mentors in academia.
All right, I'll take that. I think the first thing that was done is the leadership of AusIMM, Wisdom and his guys looked at the various courses and levels, and then they looked at people in the industry to match to that specific. For instance, if you are doing metallurgy, then it makes sense to link you to a metallurgist. If you are doing mining engineering, they link you to a mining engineer. I think that was the first criteria. And then there were people or mentors who are who can handle mineral economics, mine management, and so on. We have the Obuasi MD, for instance, as one of the mentors. So I discuss with Wisdom those who want expertise in areas that are not covered can contact some of us. So that was the criteria that is used. This is the initial one. With time, we will polish it. For instance, a mining engineer doesn't have to mentor a mining engineer. A mining engineer can mentor a surveyor or safety. A metallurgist can. It depends on the requirements of that particular mentee. For now, as a start, it's been linked to your particular profession because as students, you might need guidance in metallurgy, materials engineering, mining engineering, and so on. And when your needs, if you think the mentor cannot cope with your needs, you contact the leadership that, okay, I think there's a gap. I want more experience with mineral economics, for instance, or mine management. Then we can help you fill that gap. So we'll conduct various seminars on this platform to analyze where we are going. Everybody can share their experiences, and then we can adjust accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. There's another question to Mr. Henry. How can one be a member of MEST?
Sorry, what is MEST? Can you clarify what is MEST? Moderator, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I'm not sure what MEST is. I think the person who asked the question can unmute himself and explain to us, please. Okay, so the co-host of the meeting says, I believe the person intends to ask about mechanized mining and engineering skills training.
Okay. So mechanized mining engineering skills training is a subsidiary of mining tools, which is organizing, which is sponsoring this function. So MEST is a company that trains professionals, operators, students in various fields. For instance, if you want to get a blasting certificate, you can sign up with MEST. MEST will give you the theoretical and practical training and help you take the examination with the Minerals Commission. If you want to be an operator or you want to be a mine captain or an underground manager or whatever it is, they have a website which I will share with your leadership, and then you can look at the various training programs that they have. But all these are certified, accredited by the Minerals Commission, and they will take you the theory and the practical so that you can take the exams with the Minerals Commission. In the past, you have to be sponsored by a company if you want to move from shift boss to mine captain. Now you can come in as an individual. If you have a shift boss certificate and you want to upgrade yourself to mine captain, you don't have to wait for the company. You can come in and then go through the program and take the exams. Then you can show your employer that you have the mine captain certificates. It does not automatically qualify you to be employed as a mine captain at the mine, but when opportunities come up, then it gives you the advantage. So that's what MEST is. I'll send the website to your leadership and you can share more with you. So it's not membership, it's a company actually that trains operators if you want to know how to drill, how to blast, and so on. It's more on the practical aspect of mining.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Entry. So we'll take Our last question. Mr. Francis Polycarp Ado asks if he can get Mr. Henry Entry's personal email to reach out to him personally. Yeah.
I will. I'll send it to him.
Yes, please. So we'll end our meeting here. We'll have the closing remarks by Mr. Bright Efum, who is the patron of the Tarkwa AusIMM chapter.
Thank you very much, moderator, and thank to everyone here, the participants, for making this inauguration a success. Some few points to take away is we'll make a quick summary. So Henry talked about the AusIMM Tarkwa chapter, which is now expanding to capturing our friends and colleagues from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and also the importance of mentorship and where we've been or where we were and what we inspired to become in future. Then we have our speaker, Brenda, talk about some benefits of mentors, mentees, and the AusIMM in general to this program. So one key thing I took out is that no matter what you learned in the industry, you have to work with someone or work under someone who knows more than you and who will help you to lay your hands on the main things that you studied in the classroom. And that's something we all went through when we started our professional journey. Now, my old friend, Kwesi, he highlights the relationship most or mentor-mentee relationship to achieving a win-win agenda. So we brought in our science term, the symbiotic relationships, and stress on mentor-mentee engaging in each other. It could be in the structural, which is more importantly, the way to go. But however, we should move with the flow. Also track the progress so that you know where you are actually, where you are in terms of the relationship and what you want to achieve. Then also stress on transparency in the dealings, and we saw how the transparency cost a mentee who was working with Henry to make a presentation in Australia. And I must say that I made a presentation in Oman through the same medium with Henry sometime 2015 or so. And so I really know, or I know how or what Henry is saying. So you need to be transparent in your dealings. And also, as he mentioned, you paying it forward. So most of us have been mentored, and we are also paying it forward. So that's what he was stressing on. Now, Rod talked about we learning to learn. So mentees, everyone, we are learning to learn. Now, he mentioned that you should enjoy doing what you do because the industry is so great. And talk to your mentor, tell him your problems, share your problems. Now, he mentioned that the more you put in to your mentorship, the more you get from it. So I always say that relationship is expensive. So it means that the more you put in, the more you gain from this relationship. Now he further said that the importance of discussing or reading out papers, or sharing what you've read somewhere with your mentor is an important tool that would spark out some form of discussion between you and your mentor. So finally, he said, whatever you do, just enjoy it. And I like that. Then we had my senior colleague from NUST, the head, giving us several mentorship programs and drawing our attention that there are different levels of mentorship programs. So even junior lecturers or even lecturers in the university have got mentorship programs. So some of us are mentors. We are also mentees in a different form. And this will then spell out the importance of not even having one mentor in your life. So, for instance, I'm in academia. So when I want to share certain things in academia, I know who I go to. And if it's about the industry, I know who I also go to. So you don't restrict yourself to one mentorship. That's what I took from our professor and mentioned about the red flags that need to be handled. And this is very important to the organization. So in our modalities of the mentorship program, my contact has been given out. If you have any challenge, any problem, just get in touch with myself or the team, the leadership, and we'll be able to address it. Now, I realize most of the questions were also drawing on the modalities. So we have a modalities well-written document in place. Well, it's not an exhaustive piece, but we hope that it will be a guidance for the start and we'll beef it up with time. So we'll at least and encourage everyone, every participant to read through it and just get the understanding of where we want to start the program and how we want to reach our ultimate goals. So then our professor also stressed out the need to reach out milestones and cited what our Dr. Ampofu mentioned, that you have an agenda, track it, and make sure that you are achieving something in that relationship. Yeah, don't just be dormant and assume that everything is working out well. Now, quickly, to ensure participants have fully benefit from the program. So when we are able to track our progress, we'll be able to ensure we are benefiting from this program. And that is the ultimate purpose of establishing this program. So we'll thank all our speakers. And I want to add these few points. Now, mentors and mentees especially, I know how students, we had one of our seniors in the mining too saying that he wish he had the opportunity during his days, and that is the fact. I also wish him. So uphold the integrity of your mentors or what you share. Read and understand the modalities and relate with the leadership as and when you need more clarifications. Then also make sure that this program becomes a continual process that will encourage and help us all to achieve our desired goals. So, in short, we thank you and we do appreciate your participation in this program, and may God bless us all. Moderator, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bright Efum. That was a very nice closing remark. You summarized everything that we did in the program. So I'll be giving the vote of thanks for this evening. I am really glad to have been given the privilege to give the vote of thanks for this evening's meeting. And on behalf of the Awesome Takwa chapter, we really appreciate all our guest speakers for such a wonderful meeting. We've learned a lot, both students, mentees, and mentors, and we hope that this meeting will actually serve as a guide for both mentors and mentees in this mentorship program. My gratitude goes to Mr. Henry Entry and the patron of the chapter, Dr. Bright Efum, and the executives for all the hard work they put in this program. I also extend my gratitude to Mining Tools Ghana for sponsoring this meeting. And finally, I would want to show appreciation to every participant of this meeting. It has been a very wonderful meeting and it wouldn't have been successful without you. Thank you so much. And I hope that we will all apply what we have learned from this program. Thank you.
Thank you.